blockbuster show for you tonight with 2 rare interviews. But we start with Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman. Now, Sherman should be known for making the game-saving play to send Seattle to next week's Super Bowl. But instead, his post-game outburst proclaiming his own greatness and criticizing Niners receiver Michael Crabtree, well, that's what echoed well beyond the sports world. I was the first to sit down with Sherman after that game. And in this CNN exclusive, what I found was a man whose life story adds up to so much more than the sum of those very loud words.
Here we go back, this is the moment, tonight is the night, we'll fight till it's over, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us, like the ceiling can't hold us, here we go back.
Richard Sherman is about to play in the Super Bowl. How does that sound?
It sounds mind-blowing. It really does. It sounds like something that you only dream about as a small kid. You're out in your yard, throwing the ball with your brother, saying, man, 3 seconds left in the Super Bowl for the game winner, 3, 2, 1, you catch the football. And, you never really think you're going to be in a situation where you actually get to do it.
How do you expect to perform in the moment now that you finally have your chance?
I expect to perform well because once you get out on the football field, everything goes away. Right after the kickoff, you hear the roar of the crowd, the ball's kicked, nerves are gone. It's going to be fun.
Well, I want to go back to the beginning of the Richard Sherman story. You grew up in Compton, and you grew up in one of the most gang-riddled eras of Compton. I know that your dad was the victim of a drive-by. He still has a scar on his chest from the bullets. You have a best friend growing up that is now dead. What was it like for you? Because you were a voracious reader, you like school, you were a good student, and that was sometimes at odds with some of the people around you.
Yeah, I've always been a square, a nerd, kind of odd, kind of awkward. I still am to this day. People just think I'm a lot cooler because I play football.
I'm trying to put together the pieces that shaped you through your life.
I am the greatest.
How old were you when you first discovered the old films of Muhammad Ali?
Oh, man. Shoot. Maybe 7 or 8.
And if you keep talking jive, I'm going to cut it to 5.
He was just so clever, so well-spoken, so articulate, so off the cuff. So much different than everybody else in the world. It takes a different kind of person to be able to turn that switch on and off and be able to step into the ring or step on the field and be the intense, incredible focus and kind of I guess angry human being that you have to be successful in those atmospheres.
I mean, you're a prime example of that. How do you do it?
You have to have that switch. You take it off. You treat them totally different. If you catch me in a moment on the field when I'm still in that zone, when I'm still as competitive as I can be, and then it's not going to come out as articulate, as smart, and that's why sometimes it crashes and doesn't go all so well.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best.
I do want to ask you about what happened. There was the moment on the field when you made the play. There's the choke sign. There's the interview on the field post-game. Then there's the press conference.
I was making sure everybody knew that Crabtree was a mediocre receiver. Mediocre.
What do you regret about all that? What do you not regret about all of that?
Well, there isn't much about it I regret. Mostly I regret the storm afterwards. The way it was covered, the way it was perceived, and the attention that it took away from the fantastic performances of my teammates, And that'd be the only part of it I regret, the way it's covered. It is what it is. What I said is what I said. I probably shouldn't have attacked another person. I don't mean to attack him, and that was immature, and I probably shouldn't have done that. I regret doing that, but I just felt like my teammates deserved better, and I have to apologize to them, and I have.
Sherman's teammates have, in turn, been extremely supportive, as have other athletes, from LeBron James to Hank Aaron. And here in Unguarded, we have a lot more coming up from Richard Sherman, including the background behind his feud with San Francisco's Michael Crabtree. You won't want to miss it.
Unguarded with Rachel Nichols. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Engineering some of the most advanced vehicles on the road today.
There is no substitute for experience. for what reality teaches you firsthand, in the face of danger and under the most demanding circumstances. Experience builds character. Experience builds confidence. And experience has built this. Introducing the 2014 GLK, the engineering and the experience of Mercedes-Benz. See your authorized dealer for exceptional offers through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services.
Welcome to the future. Imagined by visionaries, championed by leaders, and focused on results. Made real through hard work and a determination to build the things that people count on. Places where ideas are born, where progress fuels growth and strengthens communities. It's work that makes a difference. United Rentals. You're building the future. We're here to help.
I'm Randy, and I quit smoking with Chantix. As a police officer, I've helped many people in the last 23 years, but I needed help in quitting smoking.
Along with support, Chantix Varenicline is proven to help people quit smoking.
Chantix reduced the urge for me to smoke. They actually caught me by surprise.
Some people had changes in behavior, thinking or mood, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. If you notice any of these, stop Chantix and call your doctor right away. Tell your doctor about any history of mental health problems, which could get worse while taking Chantix. Don't take Chantix if you've had a serious allergic or skin reaction to it. If you develop these, stop Chantix and see your doctor right away, as some can be life-threatening. Tell your doctor if you have a history of heart or blood vessel problems, or if you develop new or worse symptoms. Get medical help right away if you have symptoms of a heart attack or stroke. Use caution when driving or operating machinery. Common side effects include nausea, trouble sleeping, and unusual dreams.
I did not know what it was like to be a non-smoker, but I do now.
Ask your doctor if Chantix is right for you.
Got him. Yeah, he's clean, boss.
Now listen to me, Doctor. I have an associate that met with an unfortunate accident. While he's been incapacitated, somebody's been paying him cash. Now, is this your doing?
Affleck?
Now, if I met with some such accident, would Affleck pay me? Nice. This is your stop.
Find out what Affleck can do for you and your family at Affleck.com.
I'm Rachel Nichols, and welcome back to Unguarded. You know, in the past few days, Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman has stirred up the national discussion on sportsmanship, ego, and yes, racism. Sherman himself has some fascinating insight into all those conversations. But first, I asked him exactly why he was so angry at Niners receiver Michael Crabtree. Your brother has said that Michael Crabtree was rude to you at an event this past summer, a charity event, that he shunned you, he wouldn't talk to you, and that you said at the time, all right, I'm going to show him on the field. Is that the background of all this?
Yeah, that's the short version.
Is that a clean version?
And we're going to keep it clean.
All right.
And you know, I try to...
Did it get nastier than that?
We're going to keep it clean.
Okay.
And I said I would keep it on the field. You know, on the field, we're playing a very barbaric sport. You can do as you please. And that's when I take all my animosity and all my anger and all my frustrations out on the field.
We've seen Deion Sanders and Terrell Owens and Bart Scott, and you can go much further back, Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali. We've seen guys get excited in the moment, make big pronouncements. What interested me so much about what happened to you was the reaction afterward, the way it mushroomed, and the fact that race so quickly became involved here.
Yeah, you know, it was really mind-boggling. It's really sad, especially that close to Martin Luther King Day. You're not judging a guy. I'm not out there beating on people or committing crimes or getting arrested or doing anything. I'm playing a football game at a high level, and I got excited. I maybe said some things that offended some people, which is understandable. I didn't curse at anybody. I tried not to be vulgar. I didn't want to be off-putting to anybody, and I apologize to the people who were off-put, but what I did was within the lines of a football field. What they did was in actual reality. They showed their true character. Those were real comments, not in a moment. They had time to think about it. They were sitting at a computer and they expressed themselves in a true way. And I thought society had moved past that.
We have a black president. We like to think that as a country things have changed. And of course, to some degree they have. But what did you learn about the state of race in this country just from the few days after that game?
Well, I've learned we haven't come as far as, I thought we had come. I did my job effectively. And afterwards, they interviewed me, and I had an interview. Regardless of how that interview goes, doesn't give you the right to say the things they were saying, and that's the part that's sad.
Sociologists have the theory that when people just revert to racial insults, they're uncomfortable with you, and therefore they're trying to put you in your place.
You know, I think it used to be the N-word. Now they're using thug instead of the N-word, and you know, as a more accepted way of saying it.
What do you think about your reputation as a thug?
I don't have that reputation. And it's still sad, man, because what was thug about what I did? You know, I didn't go talking about I'm going to fight the guy after the game. I'm not doing anything outrageous. This doesn't change my educational background. This doesn't change the community services. And it's really remarkable how quickly people went there, how quickly people were passing judgment.
You've made a point in your life to move away from things like you had the opportunity to go either direction, and you.
Exactly. I think people like with Muhammad Ali and the backlash that he got, people are uncomfortable with not being able to expect things, not being able to control things, not being able to put people in boxes and them stay in those boxes. You know, maybe I'm a kid from the inner city that they wish wouldn't have got out of the inner city and expressed himself in this way. Maybe that makes people uncomfortable. Maybe that people don't like to see a success story like that. Maybe it's, you know, maybe that's what it is. I really couldn't tell.
I'm guessing there are not a lot of people who would call Richard Sherman a thug after hearing that. We're going to have much more from Sherman after this break, including what part of becoming an NFL player he says took a chisel to his heart. And later in the show, a rare conversation with David Stern. He's preparing to step down from his 3-decade run as NBA commissioner.
You do what you have to do, almost certain that there'll be some crisis.
This is the first power plant in the country to combine solar and natural gas at the same location. During the day, we generate as much electricity as we can using solar. At night, and when it's cloudy, we use more natural gas. This ensures we can produce clean electricity whenever our customers need it.
If you own a small business, healthcare reform brings rising costs from taxes, fees, penalties, and community rating. By eliminating healthcare reform concerns like complexity and compliance, Insperity HR Solutions can balance out your cost, tip the scale back in your favor, and improve your bottom line. Now that's good business sense. I'm Paul Sarvati, CEO of Insperity. We are ready for healthcare reform. Are you?
Surveillance. From the first to wake up.
How do companies like Apple continue to innovate?
To the first to know. If you're the first to act.
Is it a tipping point now?
It's the solution that business has been looking for.
There's one source that delivers what matters most to you. First.
That was easy.
That's the one. And a little something for me. Find all the top brands in clothing, shoes, handbags, and more. With free shipping both ways, it's easy to add Zappos to your day.
I'm Chris Cuomo.
I'm Kate Baldwin.
And this
is CNN.
Welcome back to Unguarded, where we've been talking to Richard Sherman. After the NFC Championship game, Sherman managed in just 20 seconds to shake up our collective ideas of sportsmanship and stereotypes. But in this exclusive interview with CNN, Sherman reveals the long and unconventional path that got him to that post-game interview. a path that started with him saying no to the gangs that crowded his Compton, Los Angeles neighborhood.
You did have the choice to go either way early on. I mean, did you consciously think when you were a kid, did you think, oh, I could join a gang or I could go in this direction? Did you mull it over?
There was always that temptation. There's always that temptation there. Well, this guy has the nice car. He has, he has everything you want. He gets a lot of the girls. He has everything that you think you want to attain. And he's doing this, so why wouldn't I do it? But I also started to see the bigger picture, and I started to understand that, well, if I find a way to get myself into a college, then I have a chance to make some money, to accomplish all my dreams.
You were second in your class in high school. You were recruited by USC, which at the time was the biggest thing going in college football, but you were also recruited by Stanford, and you picked Stanford.
Yeah.
Was that about more than just football?
It was definitely about more than just football, because how almost oxymoronic does it sound that a kid from Compton is going to Stanford? The initial thought was to send a message to the kids to show, look at what hard work can get you. I was just trying to show them anything's possible.
You didn't just go to Stanford, by the way. You graduated and you started working on your master's.
Exactly.
Welcome to the 2011 NFL Draft.
All right, so draft day, 24th corner picked, 5th round. And you're famous for being able to list all 23 corners picked before you. What did it feel like that day to you?
Well, I mean, as it was like your heart's breaking with every pick. It's just the first round was fine, but the second day, you're watching the draft and you're like, it's like somebody just has a chisel to your heart with a hammer, and it's just like pick after pick after pick. My name's not called, phone doesn't ring. No news, nobody's calling me saying, oh man, we're thinking about picking you in the next round. Nope.
Do you still carry that experience with you?
Oh, I definitely do. I carry it with me every day. And then your name finally gets called and everybody's excited, everybody's, hugging you and happy. But in the back of my mind, I'm frustrated. I'm disrespected.
Do you have to be a little bit brash if you are a 5th rounder, if you are a defensive pick, to be in the position of getting those endorsements, to get the attention for your charity work?
I haven't seen it done any other way. Truthfully, there have been a lot of quiet players. A lot of quiet players who've given total right answers, who've done everything, who've played at an incredibly high level that you couldn't name, that you couldn't name, that you've never seen on TV, that are having a hard time getting into the Hall of Fame because they weren't that brash, because they weren't that vulgar. But that's just how the world is.
Your teammate, Cam Chancellor, told Sports Illustrated, I used to tell him to quiet down, but then I saw the results.
You need to have a dogged mentality. You have to be able to do whatever it takes to beat the man across from you. And if you lose confidence, then that's when you have a really, really bad game and you can't do anything. If I give up a touchdown, that almost arrogance allows me to forget that play.
If you win the Super Bowl and someone sticks a microphone in your face right afterward in the moment and it's crazy, and by the way, they will, what are you going to say this time?
I'm going to Disneyland, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody and they don't go after my life like that.
I mean, are you going to be more careful?
No, I'm not going to be more careful. I am who I am. I can't be anybody else. I don't know how to be anybody else, and I wasn't raised to be anybody else. I don't think I'm a bad person and never have cruel intentions off the field. But you can't, you got to be who you are. That's what's gotten us here, and if it's worked this long, see if it'll work again.
For those still unsure that Richard Sherman knows exactly what he's doing, consider this. His agent tells CNN that since Sunday, his endorsement offers have only increased and that he expects Sherman to earn $5 million from sponsors this offseason. Now stay with us, because after